Hello and welcome to Wake and Jake, a special edition. Look who's here. Foolish Bailey is in office wearing the weekly dumb jacket. Would you look at that? And it fits like a glove. Bailey, we are doing a special one today. The all-name team. And you are here in person for it. How are you?
How did I get here?
You look panicked.
I went to sleep. Yeah. I was in Atlanta, and then I woke up here.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I'm wearing this jacket.
As you've seen, we just hired 10 interns to kidnap you during the night.
Uh-huh.
And you haven't been confused for one at all, so that's the good news.
That has not happened to me once. The fact that I showed up here at the exact moment that you had numerous interns starting for their summer internship.
An office of people looking at each other with a little bit of fear of like, wait, who's that? Wait, who's this? Foolish Bailey is here. We're happy to have you. We've filmed already a ton of Jam Baseball stuff. You've just been in your normal bag, your Hank Aaron bag.
That's right.
How you doing?
I'm feeling good. Okay. Body feels right. You gotta have the body feeling right before you draft some names.
We've showed you some of the finest dining in the city.
Within the block.
Within
the finest dining on the block.
Hey man, honestly, this is a bad story. There's a block away from us is like a foreign land to me, which is weird just because there's no reason for it.
Right.
I just get lunch at all the different roads. That I go to one road, and I'm not trying to give away our location.
Yeah.
And it blows my mind. It's one street away. I never go over there. It's just weird New York City stuff.
That's
man.
Lunch Road.
Yeah, Lunch Road. Kava. I've been out of my Kava game. Anyways, we decided we wanted to do one of the big ones. We could deep dive, and we could do the top 100 prospects lists and who we like and who we don't like. We could do all the deep dive baseball stuff that you, the people, do love, and we appreciate you. But this is one of the big ones, Bailey. The all names team. This has been discussed by us for a while. We've landed on some interesting rules, but I guess you have now become part of the baseball internet fabric, and the names of baseball is something that feels dynamic to the sport. I guess every sport has it, but baseball's got the old history. Baseball has new. You feel like you find a new name every year that you're like, what is that? That I'm excited to build a 26-man with you.
Yes. I mean, I think the thing about baseball is they've been playing this thing professionally for 150 years and like rigorously keeping track of who played it. I think that is very unique to the sport of baseball. I like to see, you can just trends within America change by looking at baseball names. You can also see it by looking at pictures too. Like we were mustaches in the very early days of baseball, and then we were no mustaches for like 50 years.
Right.
They all went away, and then the mustaches came back again. It's stuff like that.
The reliever goatee.
Right.
I mean, that turned into for a while. We, if we wanted to really splice this up, we could do the all before 1912s team.
Sure.
And we would have a ton of hilarious names you would like. What we've currently landed on, because we debated doing back and forth draft and two teams, let's put together a 26-man. Let's get some pitchers. Let's get some hitters. And we want to build like an actual team. We want good players to take priority. We set some ground rules. You can only have so many old-timey names. Probably just one or two of those. Maybe one hitter, one pitcher. We'll see. We want to come in with loose rules because we want to make the best product possible, and we can't just go Boots Poffenberger for every pick.
Right. The example I used was even, Cy Young is an awesome name, right? But his name was Denton, right? Cy was a nickname. So we'll have some of those more old-timey ones where guys really went by nicknames. If you go to their baseball reference page, for example, their nickname is their listed name, but not all of them. Like, I enjoy someone whose government name is also very silly.
Right. So let's get into it. Let's have some fun. This whole show is brought to you by Cushy Dreams. Probably a lot of you are going to be enjoying your Cushy Dreams while you enjoy this content as we talk about Bill Glasscock. And we do have a limit on phallic names. No limit on the Cushy Dreams. 20% off. Code JOHNBOY. They've got gummies. They've got everything there. They're the best. They've been with us since our Bronx office times. I was just reminiscing about that. So if you're in this world, go check out Indica, Sativa, whatever you're looking for. They have it at Cushy Dreams. And code JOHNBOY at checkout, cushydreams.com, 20% off your next order. And next could mean your next order. You know what I'm saying? All right. That was something. Bailey, I'm going to kick off with you because this is something that's been on your mind for a while.
Yeah.
And now that we've landed on this format, we debated doing a draft or putting together a perfect team together and limiting old-timey names. Do you only do one Hall of Famer? We've now come in with the loosest rules I think we could to put together the best names that baseball has seen. I think the only other thing on my head before I kick to you, I also want to allow us one liberty of a name that maybe you wouldn't expect on the all-time name list, but it's just a name you love.
It's just a good name.
Like, I have one. He's an outfielder. I just can never shake the name. It's one of my favorite connections of letters. That'll be coming up in about 15 minutes. That's how you keep them tuned in on the radio.
Oh.
Bailey, where would you like to start, man? Fully open board, 26-man roster.
It's a fully open board. I think I'm going to go for a player that fits some of the criteria we're looking for. This is a good baseball player, first and foremost.
Check.
This is a player who played recent enough, and it's just a great name, and you almost forget that it's such a great name because you have memories of the player apart from the fact they had an awesome name. But at first base, I'm going to go Prince Fielder.
Wow.
It's
a great name.
First of all,
what?
I like it when a baseball name describes something that has to do with the act of playing baseball. So like Johnny Field would also fit this. Grant Balfour, right? A reliever, anything like that. Anything that describes the actual Jonathan Cannon over there in the White Sox rotation. But Prince Fielder fits that mold. And then his first name is just Prince. That's crazy. That's crazy that you go Fielder last name, Prince first name. Son of Cecil, and phenomenal player. 319 career home runs, 134 career OPS plus for the OPS plus heads out there. Sorry, Jake.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going Prince Fielder.
Bailey, you cease to amaze me. A fantastic play. Fielder, a term that goes with baseball.
Yes.
Prince, a term that has gone from the start of society, kind of. And not only a great baseball player, a baseball family.
Yes.
So, like, when we were all introduced to this guy, there is something to say about him being, like, a meaty baseball guy.
Yes.
For some reason, that adds to the appeal of the Prince.
Right.
It's a fantastic first pick. I don't know where I would have gone if I handed it off to myself. A great baseball player. I love slotting him in the lineup because there's an argument. He's a 500 career slugging.
I mean, he could bat cleanup for us, it sounds like.
Well done.
Thank you.
Really well done.
Thank you.
Wow. Prince Simeon Fielder.
Yes, I just saw that as well. That I liked that a lot. And there's a Simeon out there that's a pretty good fielder as well, I must say.
End the episode. Thank you. We'll finish our draft next time. Bailey just executed perfectly.
Thank you.
Felt like watching Scott Rowland. Kind of a good name. Not near this list.
The ball rolling to him, that occurs.
Right?
Yeah.
I am going to lose all credibility.
Oh, no.
Right off the rip. Because credibility has never been my name. It goes with being phallic.
Yes. Okay.
Because I think this is a name that people have ignored the phallicness of it for years. Mm-hmm. And that's fine, because he's one of the best players to ever play this sport. And the way you teed it up, I actually thought you were going to take this guy, and I was getting mad at you for a second. There was a day, I think it was freshman year of high school. A kid came up to me, and he said, "I want you to think about these two names for a second." And I said, "Okay." He said, "Listen to these two names, and I want you to think about it." He said, Magic Johnson and Randy Johnson. We've just accepted Randy Johnson as one of the best left-handed pitchers of all time, a 6'11" photographer that we see at any big baseball event these days. Randy Johnson, and we're just fine with it.
And what was his nickname, Jake?
The Big Unit. Think about that. If Randy Johnson, the Big Unit, was today, coming up for the Expos, what would social media look like? What would Twitter, what would Instagram, what would TikTok look like?
Icy Vert would be a problem.
I think now that we made the rules of assembling this team together, we want good baseball. The man has an argument for the nastiest pitcher of all time. I will put Randy Johnson at the top of our rotation.
Do you know how good you have to be named Randy Johnson and have the nickname The Big Unit and just to not really catch any flack for that at all because you're just so good at pitching?
Nobody talks about it.
Yeah.
I feel nuts. There's a little innuendo. So I feel bad because we wanted to keep the innuendos down, but in a way, people don't associate that with Randy Johnson.
They don't. You're right.
Which is wild. And if you are ever bored one day and you're a baseball fan, even if you've done it before many times, it is one of the more delicious baseball reference pages you can possibly look at. Over 100 career WAR, 271 innings in 1999. Some of the stats.
Some of the strikeouts are really eye-opening.
I mean, we have, 3 straight years with 300? 5? Jesus. It's unbelievable. And again, I'm sorry, I don't want to knock myself too far down by going phallic early, but Randy Johnson.
Great pick.
Thank you. You have the board.
I guess
we should probably get a little tidier, otherwise this will be a 3-hour-long video.
we have 26 to go.
I really painted the picture there.
Yeah.
Big. We could start tightening a little bit.
12 minutes in, we've done 2 names.
I'll go another
left.
good baseball player, and then maybe as we go along, we'll go a little bit more, old school, a little bit more guy who played 5 years, in the 1910s.
Yeah.
There's plenty of time
names
for that. It's insane that Yogi Berra is basically named after a cartoon character, and I'm not I'm not entirely sure it's like a chicken or the egg situation for me. I don't know what came first. I don't know if the concept of Yogi Bear or Yogi Berra, real name Lawrence Peter Berra. I don't know if someone saw his last name Berra and just started to call him Yogi. I really don't know the story. But first and foremost, I think just one of the greater commanders of the English language,
Wow.
I think he and Satchel Paige are like, in terms of just baseball players, like just the amount of just, sayings. And my favorite Yogi Berra quote actually is, "I didn't say half the things I said."
Right.
Which I think is very like sort of a meta commentary on the things that have been attributed to him. But also Yogi Berra, 3-time MVP, one of the greatest catchers of all time. How many World Series wins? 10.
Enough.
Enough. 18-time All-Star. Again, I'm taking the high road here. You went low to begin with, both literally and
Randy
figuratively.
Johnson.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just gonna go Yogi Berra here.
Yeah. It was interesting. I saw the Yogi Berra documentary that was very good. And again, think of the Target demo there. I was gonna end up okay either way at the Yogi Berra documentary, between historic Yankee, short. There is a chunk on it about him not being the most handsome guy.
Oh.
A guy who's like weird with words.
Yeah.
You're hitting a lot of checklist things for me. And yeah, I think Yogi Berra came after him and like was not connected, but kind of like was, because he was a star of the era. I would have to double check myself on that. Because he was such a goof, it's gone overlooked that he's one of the best catchers ever.
Yes. and that his name is Yogi Berra.
Yogi Berra. It's a great pick, Bailey.
Thank you.
Obviously, I like that for so many reasons.
Well, I'm playing to the crowd.
Yeah. You know your audience. The board remains open. You know what? I'll cut through the trash. We had one of our newest John Boy Media people in here a couple minutes ago. Swilly, go check it out on Foolish's vlog coming up. Maybe you had a vlog camera out. We'll see. And you know what? Sometimes take the win. If you Google any greatest baseball players list, Coco Crisp.
Yeah.
It's a name for every generation. We love some alliteration, so I feel bad I'm stomping over kind of a lot of the rules we've made for ourselves.
We just want a good balance. I don't think we need to play it that
Yes,
strict.
but Coco Crisp should be on this team,
Yeah.
and I can give you the underrated baseball player thing, but Coco Crisp, I mean, it feels international.
Right.
It feels like a Latin pop star who happened to be a really good 14-year Major League Baseball player. Put him in the outfield. I see him as like a 7th or 8th hitter, maybe. You could put him at the top of the lineup, too. I don't know.
This is like the most unavoidable pick. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you getting it off the board.
I'll take the landmines.
That was really selfless of you.
That's right.
Because now I can have a little bit of fun.
I could call it a cop-out. I
Right.
could call it selfless. Coco, yeah, get him in the outfield there. Back to you, Bailey.
And where do I go next?
Yeah, see? That was another part of the reason I did it.
We've got a little bit of the starting lineup.
Actually, you know what? May I?
Oh, okay.
I'll cut you off
Okay.
on my program. I'm going to put you on the spot.
All right.
There's a lot of old-timey baseball names that we
Okay.
discussed. We could have done a whole thing on that.
Okay.
I'm almost going to give you another one pick here.
Yeah.
So again, I'm trading. I'm trading like you are a running back in the early 90s. That references for me. If I gave you the one pick of essentially the Olds draft,
Yes.
and this can be heartstrings, man. You don't have to play to the internet. What's the one that just hits you in the core?
It's Urban Shocker.
Okay.
Yeah.
The pitcher, as we all know.
Pitcher Urban Shocker. I can read you some stats on Urban Shocker because Urban Shocker is actually a very good pitcher. He pitched from 1916 to 1928 for the Yankees and the Browns.
Right. I mean, we
As
knew
you
that.
knew.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weren't you around for his 4-war season with the or 6-war season with the Yankees, 1925? He was great that year. 1927 World Series champion.
I met BBD with an Urban Shocker at the 1970. Go on.
Yeah, I'll go on.
Yeah.
First of all, Urban Shocker is his name. It's not a nickname. I've not encountered that many people named Urban in the sports world, but there is Urban Meyer.
Right.
But here's the thing about Urban Shocker, and I think let's get our heads out of the gutter here a little
Done.
bit because you could go that direction as
Right.
well, but I don't want to.
You don't need to.
I think Urban Shocker sounds like propaganda, right? Like imagine you wake up in the countryside. You open up the newspaper and it's just talking about places like New York.
Urban Shocker.
The news is just saying out there, like, be afraid of the big cities, be afraid of things that are going on. You flip open, the front headline just says Urban Shocker.
Yeah.
That's all you need to know. Like, that's what I like about the name. There's something about it that just elicits a response either way. And that's
Yeah.
why I'm going to go with Urban Shocker in the starting rotation. 187 career wins, 59
Wow.
WAR. Yeah. So, I mean, good player,
Yeah. Great player, I would argue.
He was the Mark Burley of his time.
You don't know that. You don't know that. You're making that up. No, I was shocked when I saw the name Urban Shocker on the list. And you're right. There's something about that feels like it leaves baseball.
Yes.
Whether it's a pre-war messaging to the people.
Sure.
An Urban Shocker, and the fact he had a great career. And how many people are talking about Urban Shocker today?
One.
Yeah. And I'm glad you did that for us. Okay, so that gives us how many pitchers, how many hitters do we got, Beebs? Because I'm scared because I have one cop-out pick on my mind that maybe I'll make him a bench player, which that feels really rude.
Just already place him on the bench.
Because that can just be such a quality spot for like the best name ever that
Yeah.
I'm leaving out. How about this? I'm gonna tell you, and I'll let you decide where to go with it. This person is a good ball player. The first name, is it just a great American name? But the last name, every time the Yankees played against this guy, it just always, and maybe it's something in my Italian core. I genuinely don't know. And if you just want to veto this and we delete it and I go cry in the bathroom for a couple hours, I'll figure it out. Frank Catalanato.
Oh.
I could just say his last name all day. Like if our society transformed to a system of we only talk using the phrase Catalanato and saying different parts of it more powerfully. Catalanato. Frank Catalanato. Again, I feel like there's a lot of my heritage coming into this. He was also good. A career 800 OPS out of Frank Catalanato. I know. It was a different era of baseball. The OPS Plus wasn't as flashy. But he was a good baseball player. A good man. I just start pouring
Family
tears.
man.
I just start pouring
They're
tears
all
down
union
my
men.
face.
You could say he's a union man.
He is a union man. That was when I gave that speech at the start of this. That was who I wanted as like, if you look for names, if you Google names list and who's done this before, you won't see his name. But it's maybe my favorite name I've seen on a baseball field.
Do you ever have like just a random moment in your life that just, for whatever reason, snapshotted at a young age, and you can just sort of play it back in your head?
Sure do.
And it's not even an important moment in your life.
It's just there.
I remember a moment in my life waking up to watch Sports Center in the morning, as I did. I can look up the date of this now because it must have been the morning of May 2nd because this took place on May 1st. But Frank Catalanato had a ball game where he went 6 for 6. And for some reason, I can just picture all the highlights of that being shown to me on Sports Center I was almost 9.
Not to get too heavy with you. If that was Jeremy Smith, do you think you'd have that memory in your head?
Not for a second.
Kind of, I feel like we just did a mentalist thing on the people.
That messed with me a little bit because I know a guy named Jeremy Smith. I'd be like, well, I mean, if he played in the big leagues that went 6 for 6, I'd probably remember it.
And you've been got.
Yeah, I would have been got.
So yeah, again, I feel weird that I got so passionate about that. So if you can do whatever you want over there, man, and I'll collect myself.
Yeah, you'll just have to accept it.
Give myself a little hug.
I mean, I think I know where I got to go here.
Okay.
It's one of those that it's gonna be on the list. It's kind of like Prince Fielder in that this guy had a recognizable look. It's kind of like Randy Johnson that this guy was dominant, that you almost forget that his name was Rolly Fingers.
Yeah. Okay. I was going there too.
Yeah, you almost forget that his name was Rolly Fingers. Full name Roland Glenn Fingers, but I'm fine with that. That's a little bit just a truncation of the name.
No.
Rolly Fingers. Again, fingers are a big part of baseball and pitching, where you put the fingers. How many seams you touch with the fingers is important. Yes. And Cy Young winner and MVP in 81 with Milwaukee. And the other thing about Rolly Fingers is, really besides Mariano, he's like, in terms of guys who are just like all-time great relievers, like with the strongest postseason resume. His postseason resume is pretty absurd.
Right.
So yeah, and he just kind of has to be on the team, I guess. Mustache.
And I think there's also that something, and we've now entered a weird level of meta after the Catalanato we just did to everyone. But if you've ever watched if you watch baseball and you saw Rolly Fingers once, I think he's burned into your brain.
Yes, for sure.
So his image with the mustache, it in theory shouldn't be a factor in the names draft, but I think it absolutely is.
Yes.
And overlooking that his last name's Fingers is kind of crazy.
Yes. Yes.
It's a massive something.
That's an insane last name to have.
Most people use them every day for pitchers. It's a sneaky great name. I was gonna take him, and then I decided to go on my Catalanato passion rant. So that is well done, per usual, Bailey. I don't want to take the out. I feel like we've got a lot of infield left.
Okay.
That I want to put together a good team here. And you know what? Let's start tag teaming this a little more. I've scared myself with my own passion projects. A couple second base names. and I want to see what hits more of a chord with you. Honestly, I love this name, but I think it starts leaning into the alliteration too much. Placido Polanco.
It's on my list for sure.
The P's and the O's, so maybe I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah.
And Beebs helped with this list that I want to see where else you can go with it, because Chuck Knobloch does stand out for different reasons.
Yes.
I mean, Chuck
Chuck
is kind of a
Knobloch.
baseball term, sneaky, Knobloch. And then Beebs did put Dan Ugla on here as well, that is so iconic for a generation of baseball fans, because I think he's not an ugly guy, but for whatever reason, his body type lived up to it. Like, Dan Ugla, I'm here to hit homers,
Yeah.
and that's kind of what's gonna happen.
Another guy you can picture in your head right now.
If you watched and saw Dan Ugla once, you were like, that's Dan Ugla. So maybe this is the better way. Maybe from here on out, we should go kind of through some positions.
Yeah.
Second base, who else stood out for you?
Homer Bush.
Yeah.
Um,
Why'd you giggle?
baseball
Why'd we all
name,
giggle?
baseball name and innuendo name.
Yes.
Stubby Clapp,
Right.
who is in the
Of course.
coaching
Stubby.
ranks and really known more so for being in the coaching ranks.
I would put him as a coach on this team.
Okay, he
because I
can
think
coach
he
this
only
team.
played like a little bit.
He had
Yeah.
25 at bats,
Yeah.
but I
In that
found
case,
out he played
we've
second
got
base.
some coaches on
Yeah,
this
we
team.
got
Yeah.
coaches on
Oh
this.
yeah. Well,
Frosty's
yeah.
there.
Yeah, I know where you're going next, but we'll save that one. And then I just found out about this one today. There's a guy named Greg Legg, but honestly, I think Polanco is an admirable choice.
Let's pencil him in.
Pencil.
Because, I don't think there's a ton of alliteration left, and we'll see if I have to call myself out on that. But P-O-P-O.
Yeah. With the L's in there too.
There's L's, there's C's.
It's just a good name.
It feels
The
like
rhythm's there.
Placido Polanco.
Good player.
How about this? Maybe this is the upsell to myself. It's a name that could be involved in every generation somehow. Like if you told me there was an 18... I know there wasn't a ton of Placidos in the 1800s.
I was going to say that.
But if
yeah.
you told me there was, I wouldn't question you. I would just be like, okay, where did he live? Lake Placid, and he fell in once and yelled, "Oh," or something? There would be some dumb baseball story that made it make sense. You're like, his 7 siblings drowned in Lake Placid. And you're like, what? Why
Why did
tell
they
me
name
that?
him after that?
That I'm good. I'm good putting Placido Polanco, which would then catcher Yogi, first base Prince Fielder, second base Placido Polanco.
I mean, this is a good team.
It's a solid, right?
Yeah.
I think we were looking for something, and I think we're finding it. So we have shortstop, third base, and the outfield's kind of open. I guess, does your core feel like we need a historic player? Like, we could have a Babe Ruth
I
conversation
know.
if we really wanted.
We definitely could.
But I don't know if... I don't know.
Can I... There is another old-timey one that's near and dear to my heart.
Please.
He's a third baseman, and I'm going to make a pitch for him right now. This is definitely a nickname case.
Sure.
But there is a player who played in the 1800s who went by the only Nolan. So that is the word "the" followed by "only" followed by Nolan. His name was Edward Sylvester Nolan. I don't know if he was the only Nolan at the time. He seemed pretty convinced he was.
So if I type "the"
if you
into
type
baseball
the,
reference,
that is
right
going
now,
to show up 100%.
Sure does.
Yeah, and there have been Nolans since. Nolan Arenado, Nolan Ryan, Nolan Reimold.
Nice. Big prospect.
I'm sure there's a fourth one.
Yeah.
But there's just something about going to someone's baseball reference page. I know it's a nickname, but he really stood up there and declared that he is the only Nolan.
Ooh, so I guess my only, and again, maybe I'm looking at the other only Nolan. I have him as a pitcher.
Oh, pitcher, outfielder, and third
Yeah.
baseman. Okay, I think I looked at this, and he had... Ooh.
By the way,
Oh, no, he had, no third base.
nice ERA. I feel like he's a good bullpen slide for us.
Maybe, you know what? Yeah, maybe not third base, but maybe bullpen, right?
I think
He was a starter, but, I mean, the bullpen didn't even really exist when
Yeah,
he pitched
we're-
as a concept.
we're reinventing baseball. God, what a different time the 1800s were. Nice analysis, Jake. I was more so talking his baseball page of, he did play He played some third base and he moved around the infield the days he wasn't pitching sometimes.
But they all did. They all did. Yeah.
This guy called out sick with scurvy, so I like the only Nolan. I do think we have to put him in our bullpen.
It's just silly enough that it's got to be on the team somewhere, I think.
It's dynamic.
Yeah.
It's the only, which is a lie.
It is, but we don't know that. Maybe at the time he was the only
Right.
Nolan. There have been Nolans since.
Yeah, I mean, it's giving me a little bit of Precious Achua vibes, but in the 1800s versions. Okay, so my third base itch isn't quelched,
Yes, no, I'm afraid not.
and that's fine.
I have some alliteration there. I'm curious if you do as well.
Kevin Kuzminov?
Yes.
It's a good name,
Yes,
but I don't know.
It is, but
But here's what I'd say.
okay,
Does Placido Polanco not dunk on Kevin Kuzminov?
he does. But I think there is something to be said because Placido Polanco, like the amount of enjoyment I get from that name is distributed evenly.
Yes.
I enjoy Placido just as much as I enjoy Polanco.
Kuzminov.
I kind of like guys that are like, let's go normal first name and then let's get wild with it.
Right.
You know, like let's just, because you read Kevin, you're like, Kuzminov, you know. I guess we can wait on it a little.
Let's make the sales team happy as I tell them about Out West. It's what I'm wearing right now. And we've been wearing it a lot. Out West kind of did it right. They sent a box of stuff to the office, and now everyone started wearing it. From John Boy to Joe's McFly. That's not what they want me to tell you. They want me to tell you that their hoodies, polos, Q-zips are all made from ridiculously soft, high-quality fabrics. Like the kind of soft that makes your old go-to feel like sandpaper. Tough for the last shirt. Tough for the olds. But that's why we're starting to go modern. Their pieces are built to last. There's going to be something on the website that you like. And you get a free hat with any hoodie, Q-zip, or polo purchase from Out West. All you got to do is use code JOHNBOY at checkout. That's code JOHNBOY at checkout for a free hat. Out West. Every game needs an outlaw. I mean, hello. Started from a couple guys from South Dakota, probably like half our list here. Okay. We've now put ourselves in a bit of a quandary. Because I feel like we've scratched a lot of the itch we wanted to, and now it's making this thing feel right. Like, do I Dick Pole you?
It's there.
It's going to be there for history. It's always going to be brought up.
Right.
Had a good career.
Okay, I'm not sure if I knew this.
Oh.
Dick Pole, was he?
See, okay. No, his career was bad. I take it back.
But he did play in the
take it back.
70s. This could have been like 100 years ago.
No, it's a good point. Yeah. But no, I think we're above Dick Pole a little bit.
Belly button pole.
Does Milton Bradley do it for you or no?
Just to be honest with you, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Right.
But I'm not laughing.
Lars Nootbaar.
Yes, I mean, that's
I'm kind of there
one.
too.
Yeah, that's a very good one.
I think we're very much in the moment with it. And like when he initially got called up, that there was that initial pop of like, whoa, Lars Nootbaar, what's this about? Then I feel like if you were in baseball, the conversation changed to like all the other outfielders the Cardinals traded away.
Right.
That Lars kind of started to blend in a little bit. Then it was kind of like he's one of Ohtani's friends.
Then he became very famous.
That I think Lars Nootbaar is, I didn't want to be a victim to the moment, and I think I just explained why I'm not. But he should be on this team.
Yes. He ranks very high on guys who have a name that sounds like it could be from Star Wars.
If you put this name out for the public, and again, I don't know how much of our public is still locked in on Lars Nootbaar, but if we went to the streets, if we went to Times Square and we said, hey, who is this and what do they do? I think you're getting, astronaut, Star Wars. I think you're getting, if we said pro sports, I mean, how many before baseball would they get to? Soccer? Cricket? Football? I don't know. Okay, I agree with you. I wanted Lars Nootbaar on this team, and I think it's right.
I think it's right as well.
Okay. Then where else do we go? We're in a tricky spot, babe. Like
are in a
Mookie
tricky
Betts
spot.
is staring at us.
I know he has been staring at us this
and
whole entire draft.
Are we too attached to him because he's good and we're used to it?
Right. And there was Mookie Blaylock.
What's Mookie Blaylock?
Also a good name.
Atlanta.
Yeah. And then, you know what? Can I go Atlanta?
Please.
I'm going to go bullpen here, if you don't mind. Because this is just the one from my childhood that always made me laugh. He had a brief stint.
We
and
love attachment.
It's Tim Spooneybarger, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a good name. It starts with the Tim. You get thrown off a little bit,
Right.
and then right into Spooneybarger. Diving right in, head first into Spooneybarger.
Right.
Yeah, only played 3 seasons. Was good.
Wasn't
got
he
injured.
good?
He was really
Like
good.
he closed a little bit, right?
Yeah,
For
Well, he had one.
Miami,
He had one
Florida?
save. He was Atlanta and he was Florida. But he was done after
Okay.
23. He came up at 21 as a reliever
Crazy.
and was good. You know.
Yeah.
And the memory I have of Tim Spooneybarger is that he would come out to the song "Spoon Man" by Soundgarden,
Wow.
which, as he should,
Leaned into it. Yeah.
leaned into it. And I like there's no balance here between the amount of letters in the first name and the last name.
Yeah.
It's about the most letters you could have in a last name and about the least you could have in a first name.
I think we also get SpongeBobbed here a little bit.
Perhaps we do.
But
yeah.
you know, I didn't consume a ton of it. I was a little late and very sports addicted. But Spooneybarger, SpongeBob, like I think if you put that into the however our brains work, I think there's an extra attachment to Tim Spooneybarger.
Do me a favor, just say Spooneybarger one more time, please.
Spooneybarger.
Did that feel good?
Yeah, man.
Felt good to say Spooneybarger.
It's a good connection.
Yeah.
Like Catalinato was assembled the right way and worked. Spooneybarger was not,
No.
but it works.
It does work.
And that's the beauty of it.
It's like when you stop following the instructions on the Lego, but you still like what you got.
You still built something nice.
Yeah.
I might have another candidate for our coaching staff or our outfield.
Nice. Go for it.
And you kind of opened my eyes a little bit. I feel like I got punched in the mouth with the first pick in the draft being Prince Fielder. It was really good. Dusty Baker should be involved with this franchise.
Yes, you're right.
Like we've been, again, I think we have a little bit of numbness to it because as long as I've known baseball, I've seen Dusty Baker involved in it in some way. You know, it became the whole storyline if you're deep in baseball, like how has Dusty never won? And then him and the Astros and like a little bit made for TV movie there at the end. He's always a guy when you bring up his player page, it's like, oh,
Really good.
shoot. Our dads knew Dusty Baker as a really good baseball player. And then you take a step back and you read those 2 words, Dusty Baker? So I'd take him in the outfield if you want to put him on the coaching staff alongside of Stubby Clapp. I'm good with you.
He's on the team either
Okay.
way. I'm not going to argue with you about.
Put him in the outfield.
Put him in the outfield. He had almost 2,000 career hits, 1,981. That's, I mean, I don't know what the comp is for Dusty Baker, like what modern player, you know,
Ooh.
most, I don't know, is it I mean, Matt Holliday's probably a little bit better, but like, you know, I don't know.
Yeah, the fact that that's there isn't far off.
Right.
242 career home runs. This is dumb, and he has a couple young years that really shouldn't count, but he played from 68 to 86,
Right.
and then he's coached more than that.
Yeah.
That I do love a true baseball lifer. And actually, BBD, if you can go to his baseball reference, I think a lot of the baseball nerds know this. When you put your mouse over their picture,
Oh, yes.
it shows a couple pictures of them, and sometimes you get some silly. You have young man Dusty Baker, and you have, I mean, that guy.
You're watching a life unfold here.
Yes.
That guy has seen so much baseball. That guy has seen so much baseball that I feel a lot better about it. Dusty Baker in the outfield.
That guy managed Yordan Alvarez.
What? Like it doesn't make it make sense. maybe we'll say one day he managed Hunter Brown.
Sure.
God, he looks good. That's for another week.
That's another
Jake.
discussion.
That's another week, Jake.
Another discussion.
Give me some more names, Bailey.
What is our need in terms of position right now?
Let's bring it up. I believe we have catcher first and second. We have shortstop and third open. Coco, Lars, and Dusty currently make up the outfield. With
Can always
Frank.
move someone to a
Yeah,
bench.
we could always shuffle. We have room on the bench with Frank Catalanato, and he can be a utility infielder. He did play a lot of second and third as he came up. So we have a little bit of flex.
All right, I'm gonna go shortstop. It's been staring at us for a while.
Derek Jeter.
You got me there.
I thought you were playing the audience.
Yeah, I was playing the audience. Wilson Betamy, no. It's Jack Glasscock, I'm afraid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
It's first of all, Jack Glasscock is one of those guys who is going to continue to come up on like the early days committee vote for like the Hall of Fame. He has over 2,000 career hits. He has over 60 career WAR. Him and Bill Dallin are kind of very similar careers, similar time. Not that anyone listening to this cares.
There's three people that do, and they are so happy.
But his name was Jack Glasscock, and I
Right.
think like there's no getting around the phallic nature of this. But and like Glasscock alone is incredible, but just the fact that you have it begin with Jack and end with cock,
Right.
there's just
you're
just
right.
nothing you can do about that.
That's a great connection because you can get lost in the glass cock.
right. You could get lost.
Because that itself is hilarious.
Yeah.
Wow. If you take out the glass, may I?
Mhm.
If you take out any three of the individual words, this name still makes the list.
Right.
Jack Glass,
Yeah.
Jack Cock,
Right.
Glass Cock.
Right.
3 for 3.
Yeah. Like Jack Cock is funny, and what's crazy is that in a way that Tyler now isn't.
That was funny, man. I turned 36 this year. And I
Yeah.
still find that funny.
I'm creeping up on 30.
God, I think you get old and you like that stuff still. He's our shortstop, huh?
Yeah, he's shortstop
60
and
career
second
WAR.
baseman. I mean, this is a good player too.
Right. No, I'm good on it. I guess I'm interested. You know, there was some Angel Baroa, Pee Wee Reese, Pokey Reese, like, you know.
Yeah.
If you're going to start doing that, I'm wondering, does Mookie Betts have to end up on this team? I also, I made myself laugh when we were talking about Glasscock. If we just put, for someone that only sees the graphic, if we just put like a not generic, but not, the name that came to my head was Tyler Beatty.
Yeah.
And someone just looking at the graphic and being like, is that name great?
Right, and just being like, this guy doesn't even get it. This guy doesn't even get why Tyler Beatty is so funny.
They're just digging in their head. Wait, is there something crazy?
Like you
about-
guys, you haven't seen like,
Is there something?
What do you mean you don't know
funny
what that
about
is?
Like his eyes are beady?
yeah.
So I don't know. Again, the ramblings of a lost crazy man.
I mean, there's room in this pen.
Yeah, we've got pitchers, and that's good news. Do we go low for a second, like Richard Lovelady?
Yeah, there's an active pitcher who's kind of in a similar manner.
I mean, if our kids are doing this,
Right.
I think Richard Lovelady, it stands the test of time.
It's an incredible name. And he was a legit prospect too. He never he didn't quite pan out as
drop it down.
as a monster reliever, but there was a time.
I'm doing it, and I'm going to Jack Glasscock this argument. Richard Love,
Right.
Richard Lady,
Right.
Love Lady.
Yes.
It all works.
Funny.
It all works.
funny.
And a good lefty reliever in the pen, like you need.
Yeah,
that.
we're gonna need that.
What else is standing out? Do you want Kevin Quackenbush, or does I feel like Tim Spooneybarger kind of took whatever Kevin Quackenbush's role would be?
Yeah, I think he ate his lunch.
Um,
Is that an expression?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I tried.
I don't know if it works there, but
if you want to go bullpen, there's a couple active guys I like in the bullpen.
please.
I don't.
You don't have to fight for them.
Yeah,
Let's see what
okay.
hits a chord.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna let you pick, and maybe the answer is both. I'm gonna let you pick between these two. My first pick is as a potential nominee for active reliever is Orion Kerkering in Philadelphia.
I see what you're saying.
The second pick is Brusdar Graterol.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So both of these guys, are good.
Yeah.
And we'll see what the rest of the career has for a reliever. Brusdar's had the injury game pick up a little bit. Kerkering so new that I have no idea he could go on and be great, or he could end up on more names lists than baseball lists. I guess what I'm finding interesting about both these, the noises that come with them. Orion Kerkering is like Brusdar Graterol. It's everything you want. You have the uniqueness of Brusdar. And God, he does have moments, like playoff moments.
He's a great playoff pitcher.
Orion Kerkering, again, can almost turn phallic in the back end.
He could.
Orion and the connection to Orion's belt, I do feel something there. I think if I had to take one, and people are hearing my true mental thought process, this is shocking. Current baseball winning out, I would take Brusdar. Brusdar has a chance to establish himself, has already kind of put a mark on baseball history. I hope Orion Kerkering does. But I think if, the name draft in 2042, I think Orion Kerkering could be passed over, and I don't know if Brusdar can be.
Right. I mean, maybe Orion's going to be a very popular baby name in 20 years,
Right? It kind
it's
of
going to
feels
be every
like
preschool class is going to have an Orion in it, but there's only one Brusdar.
Right. Yeah, Brusdar's not catching on.
That's not going to catch on.
That's not catching on in the nicest way to Brusdar Graterol. Okay. We can put Orion on the maybe list for now. Make a whole AAA team. We won't do that to you people. We need more. Okay, I'm going to throw some starting pitching out at you because our bullpen's almost packed. How many pitchers are we going to have on this team?
Our
I mean,
bullpen
8
is-
would fill our bullpen as
Yeah.
far as roster
About
spots.
8.
And we still have, so we essentially have 2 bullpen spots?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's hit the rotation a little bit. And yeah, I will go at you. I'm going to make you make an alliteration pick
Okay.
between a Hall of Famer and a not.
All right.
Bert Blyleven.
That's a good name.
Some good noises there. A historic curveball. Sixto Sanchez.
I think it's got to be Sixto Sanchez.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell them why.
Well, first of all, it's a great sort of baseball what if. They talk about him like
yes.
he's Bigfoot now. Like we saw him once in 2020,
Yes.
and he hasn't been seen since, right? He did make it back up for a little bit after.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's just there's great alliteration there. Sixto Lezcano is an outfielder who played a few decades ago, but does not have the alliteration with Sanchez.
Right.
And I don't know, maybe the best pronunciation of his name is more like Sisto. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
But it's just, yeah, I mean, Blyleven's got a really good name,
right.
but his Hall of Fame pitching is not enough for me to make up the gap between his and Sixto Sanchez, which is a name I really like.
I like what you said about Sixto Sanchez. If you were someone who was into baseball in the 2020 season,
Really, just that one.
which, by the way, a lot of people were,
Yeah.
because it was the first sport back. So you saw the 21-year-old Sixto Sanchez looking amazing and all right, getting ready to watch the rest of this man's career. So I guess you can turn it into a sad note.
Right.
But also, if I was making it not sad, the pronunciation key says the letter 6 hyphen toe.
Well, there you go. Sixto.
6. Imagine if he did. Now that would be.
Sort of a Antonio Alfonseca situation.
In a roundabout way, this would have worked as a 19-teens player. He would be
Oh,
six
yes, he would have been
Sanchez.
six toes.
Toe
Sanchez.
Sanchez.
Yeah.
Okay, you've convinced me on that. Now I will set you up again, Bailey.
Should I go pitcher?
I
Starting?
have two pitchers for you that are giggle worthy.
Giggle-worthy pitcher.
Or I'll give you three.
Uh-huh.
Rich Hill,
Sure.
Bill Hogg,
Okay.
giggled,
It didn't make me laugh.
giggle meter, and then Gaylord Perry.
Yeah, I don't know if I like the Gaylord Perry
I know,
angle.
right?
Yeah.
Feels like that's on the outs.
Yeah.
Had to come up in the conversation, but
Yeah. I get it.
Uh-huh.
I get it.
we're past it.
So then, do you think a Rich Hill or Bill Hogg could be on this team, or do you find them not appealing enough?
I don't know. I kind of have some names I like.
Okay, let's hear it.
There is, and I want to get this name correct because we'll start with an old timey name, Van Mungo. Now, here's the thing about Van Mungo. I haven't even gotten to the best part. He has a middle name as well, Jake. So I'm now going.
First name Van.
First name Van.
VAN.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Last name Mungo, Mungo. Kind of, or maybe it's like Mungo rhymes with fungo.
Right.
That's a baseball term. But the middle name means his full name is Van Lingle Mungo. You know the song that in the summertime.
Yeah, that's by
the guy that
Mungo
sings
Jerry.
is Mungo
Yeah.
Jerry. So maybe that's the only other time I've encountered Mungo.
How long have you been sitting on Van Lingle Mungo?
Let's see. In terms of my starting pitcher name list, he was second.
Okay.
32 WAR.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, I should. Yeah, not a bad player.
Great career.
120 wins.
259 career games started. He's got wins. He's got saves. That
Yeah.
feels like a Bailey Jolly video. The list of saves
rise and
wins
fall?
guy.
Yeah.
No, not him. I'm over Van Mungo.
Okay.
No, like the
Like the
like-
Ian Kennedys of the world.
like Van Mungo having 16 career saves.
yeah.
I guess if you start lumping in the olds, I guess there's a lot more of that.
Yeah, because
Action,
they were just
yeah.
being weird with
They
the
just threw
bullpen.
guys out
Satchel
there, yeah.
Paige was getting like a ton of saves when he
Right.
was, in the majors.
Okay. Maybe it's interesting. Maybe it's not. How about a 6.6 WAR season in 36
I was there.
from Van Mungle?
Van
Mungo.
Lingle
Mungo. How
Yeah.
could I combine his names possibly? The more I'm cycling, Mookie Betts should be on the team, and we're just
Yeah. Let's get him on there.
we're in too deep.
Let's get him on there.
I think we slot him into an outfield
Yeah.
slot, and I think we had options to kick out of there.
Definitely.
Catalano stays on the bench. I get it, guys.
Like, we can bench Lars
I think you
pretty
bench
easily.
Lars.
You bench
right?
Lars. Coco, we need for center.
Yeah. Although Lars is playing center out there, right? But Coco plays center.
Yeah.
Coco Crisp, another guy.
Is Lars playing center?
I think a little bit.
Let's see.
I think he can.
Victor
he can.
Scott's
That's why I
Victor
like
Scott.
him for the bench role, because he can.
Yeah, he can play all the
He
outfield.
can,
Find
he,
his
he can
way.
play all three outfield.
Catalano,
in
the
a
bench is
pinch.
getting lefty. Third base. Do you want to? Kuzmanov's been staring at you, and you
Yeah.
love him.
There's an active one that's phallic. That's kind of a util guy.
Go on. You have my attention.
It's Miles Mastroboni.
You know what? Thank you for visiting our studio. Get the hell out of here. And
This is a man who
please
plays
do
baseball in
not come back.
2025.
It's a great point.
Yeah,
I don't think I can put Miles on the team. I'm
that's
sorry.
okay. I vetoed Gaylord Perry. You
Um,
can veto Miles.
God, third base. You think that's a fun name position?
If
Maybe
we
put-
want to get nuts on it, like I think we could, in good faith, move Polanco to third. If you
Interesting.
like, if you
This.
love one of the other second basemen we didn't
Interesting.
include.
Let me look at Polanco's split between third and second real quick. I'm sure you
I
have
think
that
he
beat us.
ended up there decently.
Oh
think-
yeah,
I
we got
think
we
some
got, we
back
got
half
6,000
career.
innings at third base. I think we can put Polanco at third base.
Because there's a goof where we put Trevor Plouffe on the list, which, by the way, decent name.
Oh, I mean,
Not all names.
Plouffe's not
85th
bad.
percentile easily.
Yes, doesn't make this team. I like
Hall of
moving.
very good name.
I like moving Polanco to third,
Yeah.
and then I realize there's part of our baseball core that loves Dan Ugla. Chuck Knobloch, man,
It's a the
the chun noise, yeah, and
The Cuz are kind of underrepresented on this
Yeah.
list.
I
right
feel
now,
like
too.
he's one of the guys
And he's
that
good.
people do know, but he was really
good.
good.
Was he the one that got yips?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that they ended up kicking him to left field. And yeah, how lineup construction went at the time. I mean, the 98 Yankees, Chuck Knobloch is on. The 99 Yankees.
Yeah.
He's leading off a lot for these teams that yes, he stopped having the ability to throw a baseball from second base to first base. They ended up moving him to left field a little bit.
His numbers are great.
Historic, like amazing. Like I remember
Yeah.
he was one of the first players that I remember being like, hey, they got this cat from the Twins, and like I know it's the Twins, right? But he's gonna be really good for the New York Yankees. And that's because in '96 he had an 8.7 WAR season.
Yeah. He's still in like 40, he's still in 60 bases in a season as well.
I mean, he was like the dream leadoff hitter.
Yeah.
He got on base at a crazy clip. Let's see, what's the best split I can give you? Let's do it for 5 years. For 5 seasons, he got on base at a 403 clip.
Yeah.
With averaging 42 stolen bases in 162 games. So
You've convinced me.
I like getting Chuck Knobloch on the team. And a little, a sign of respect
Yeah.
for a great player whose name has 2 great noises in it. So, okay. So Chuck Knobloch wins the second base gig.
Yes.
Minnesota Times article from 1991. Placido Polanco goes to third. A couple pests in the lineup.
Yeah.
My goodness, that's Chuck leads off. Placido flips it over back to the top of the order. We are cooking with gas. So our DH is open, which is always interesting.
Yeah.
Because do we do it our way? Do you get a DH?
I don't know, because I don't actually have players listed under the concept of
Right.
DH. I could maybe argue that Prince Fielder's a DH.
Right.
But I don't know. Let me look at my list here.
Travis Hafner is again a Trevor Plouffe type name where it's good.
It's good,
but it's
and
not.
and also I mean Pronk is like
Pronk
a
is
99th
great.
percentile
That's not his name.
nickname, but it's not his name. Yeah,
That's not his name. That's a nickname we made for him.
yeah.
Should Boog Powell be on this team?
There are Boogs in baseball. That's just the thing.
Yeah.
Because there was the other Boog Powell, and then there's Boog Sciambi.
Right.
But also Boog Powell was an MVP winner. You know.
Right.
I'm gonna put out a name here just because I think it's a really good name.
Okay.
Played in the 80s, pinch hitter and first baseman. This is not a good player, but his name was Razor Shines.
I've seen Razor
Yeah.
Shines pop up.
Yeah.
And again, if you're just looking for a combination of words that people need to know about, I'd be open to Razor Shines as a bench position.
No, I've talked
It's
myself
kinda
out
not
of it.
who we
Because
are.
like Boog Powell is not a worse enough name than Razor Shines to outdo the skill gap.
I'm starting to fall into Boog. As I say my research, I Googled like 3 names lists. I did see Quentin McCracken pop up.
Oh, yeah.
And that's just like, if you're looking for noises that human beings like,
Yeah.
Quentin McCracken.
That was like a favorite of mine when I was a kid when he was on the Snakes.
And that's where I'm getting tripped up right now because I think I remember him being better than the stat page says. Let's see. Because Quinn McCracken played for a decade. Yeah. I mean, we're looking at .3 career WAR. The hell we put ourselves through, Bailey.
I know.
Should Babe
Quentin
Ruth,
Antoine McCracken? I mean,
it's a sick name.
that's a great name.
Are we being dumb? Should Babe Ruth be on this team? Should Johnny Dickshot be on this team? Like
Yeah, and do you know what Johnny Dickshot's nickname was?
Moises Alou.
Oh, yeah.
What was Johnny Dickshot's nickname?
Ugly.
Ugly Johnny Dickshot.
Mm-hmm.
That's brutal, man.
Yeah.
Like, did he have fun with that, or was he miserable?
I don't know. I don't know if calling that part of the body that existed even then.
Can I tell you one we'll have to do in the future?
Sure.
Baseball names that are amazing baseball names that aren't flashy. Like,
yeah.
honestly, I just said Ted Williams to myself, and I was like,
That's Hall of Famer. Yeah.
fuck, that's so good. Ted
Like
Williams.
ball player names
Like-
is different than baseball names.
Oh, my God.
We take Freddie Freeman for granted.
Right?
A great alliteration.
Yeah, maybe there's just like a perfect baseball name team, and they're like good at baseball. Because our brains get changed. Like if I knew a Ted Williams that was the worst utility infielder I've ever seen, I'd be like, oh my, there goes Ted Williams again. Boots another one. Instead, I've been told he's a great model American. Andrew McCutcheon's kind of a good name.
It is a good name.
But now we're just dancing around it.
Let's go Boog Powell, even though it is technically a nickname, John Wesley Powell. I'm fine with that. Because first of all, we need some thump. I think we got a lot of on base on this lineup.
Well, let me give you just one counter.
Oh, okay.
Because maybe Prince moves to DH in this situation. You could have Boog at first. There's been a lot of stuff said at the table today, Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
Richie Sexson.
I know. It was.
It feels
Yes.
like if you became popular in the 90s,
Uh-huh.
that this would be what you would check into hotels under.
Yes. Okay, I see what you're saying.
This, what is that called? A nomiker?
Moniker?
Moniker. I combine name and moniker. So I'll leave it to you for Sexton or Boog Powell.
Richie Sexton. Because it's his name.
It's Big Sexy.
It's his name.
Richie
Yeah.
Sexton. And now Milwaukee unite. Richie Sexton
And
and
Prince
Prince Fielder at DH and first base. So this is fantastic, Bailey. Our lineup is set. Yogi, Prince. I mean, these are guys you could say by one name.
Yes.
Knobloch,
Dusty.
Glasscock, Placido Polanco. You can't. You
can't.
have
You
to
gotta
say
say
Kind
the
of
full
want the full
Coco
thing.
Crisp, Mookie Betts, Dusty Baker, and Richie Sexton. We made a good baseball team.
This is a good team.
Catalanato, Nootbaar. Okay, so if we're trying to do this right, I think we would need a utility infielder and a catcher if we want to do that.
Yeah.
And then I think we need a couple more guys to throw the ball as well.
Yes.
We need 4 more throwers.
Any other catchers that really jump out to you? Okay.
Jared Saltalamacchia.
It's on the page here.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Is it just too many letters? Is that the only appeal, that it's just a long name?
So I guess that's my fear.
Yeah.
And people watching on the YouTube just saw me have an actual like panicked exhale over it, which is insane. Care less, little guy.
Like it's the elephant in the room
Jesus.
that I just addressed. You know
It's
what I
been
mean?
looming over us this whole time. I think it's a great name.
Yeah, I
Like,
do too.
I think, yes, it's so long and it's the generic long name, but that doesn't mean it has to be a bad name.
No, and it's just the Saltalamacchia, you know?
It just keeps happening. How many A's are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A's in one last name. As our backup catcher, yes, Salt has another identity in this world.
Right.
Macchia, not as much. It's around a couple things. Jared Saltalamacchia. You say that to any baseball fan and they get like kind of a dog seeing a treat. Just like, yeah, I know that name.
Yeah.
I know that name. Okay, perfect backup catcher. If we needed another infielder, I mean, Pee Wee Reese, Kuzmanov, is there anything else your board is seeing over there?
I mean, Bo Bichette's still out there.
Interesting.
How do you feel about that? Just, divorced from, everything else, just the name Bo Bichette.
I think it's good. I don't think it's dynamic.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm as impressed by, and we have like some alliteration there.
Right.
But the more I think about it, it's like, well, you already had a good last name, and then they just picked a first name off the last
Right.
name.
Like
and
they
it's
almost
like,
just pair.
I don't know.
I'd make an argument Dante Bichette's a better name.
Yeah, Junior.
It's kind of like they knew their kid had a shot at being a ball
They
player.
went for it.
They knew.
Like they knew this has a good chance to be a ball
They
player
knew.
nickname. Where I think a lot of the charm in some older players is like that wasn't the formula.
I always fall into the name Mark Grudzielanek, but I don't think it's a good name.
Yeah.
I think part of the reason I like it is because it's not like
not
a
a good
great name.
Yeah.
If we didn't Saltalamacchia, I think it's a much stronger
Yeah, that's
candidate.
true.
But we kind of nailed our long.
He did take that role on the team. What else do you have for infielders?
I got Gunnar. I got Gunnar Henderson. I mean, that's a pretty good name. Pretty good player.
Gunnar Henderson.
My problem is this a quarterback name?
A little bit. It's a little football-y. Henderson, no shots fired to any of the Hendersons, but it's a name.
It's just Gunnar. Yeah.
It's a weird last name to end up on this list.
Euclid, do you like... I mean, we could sneak Ugla just in on the bench. That's not a bad spot for him.
Let's do it. Let's get Ugla in there.
I think so.
Because we were so close to getting him in there in the first part.
How about this? A final round. Does Pee Wee or Pokey Reese do anything for you?
I like Pokey more so than Pee Wee.
I'm also a Pokey over Pee Wee.
Let me look at Pokey here.
Let me guess. 7.5 WAR.
Very close.
11 seasons. Less?
6.3 WAR.
Okay.
8 seasons.
Okay.
But 2 Gold Gloves.
So I guess it's Ugla in the power,
Yeah.
profound power, versus Pokey Reese.
Get some glove work.
Should we let Beebs decide?
David, you get to pick between your two favorite baseball players, Dan Ugla or Pokey Reese.
I've written Dan Ugla already.
Okay. That's fine.
There you go.
I mean, it,
Better player.
and I feel like we don't have whatever his name represents.
Yes.
You know?
You're right.
Dan Ugla. God. Okay, you did good. I was starting to lean Pokey.
I was starting to.
I think.
I'm really thinking about it, but
And also Pokey's a nickname,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he's out.
He's Calvin.
Let's round it off with some
Throwers.
arms.
Yeah.
Al Herboski do anything for you?
Mad Hungarian.
Grant
effective
Balfour?
pitcher.
Yeah.
Charlie Furbush?
Yeah. I've
a
got
little
completely
dirty.
different.
It's kind of, that's way too filthy to say.
Yeah. Can I ask you if any of these mean anything to
Yeah.
you? Well, the best pitcher in baseball is named Tarek Skubal.
Interesting.
That's sort of
Interesting.
the same appeal as Brusdar Gratterall. It's just
Wow.
like that's a lot of that's some stuff right there.
Okay, keep going, but I've noted that.
Wow.
Okay. He came up. Boof Bonzer.
Right, he's been around. it.
Yeah. Have a couple Hall of Famers. Burley Grimes. I just picture just a dirty pitcher out there, like sort of a pig pen.
Let me cut you off.
Uh-huh.
Burley Grimes is on the team.
Okay, let's do it. Let's
That
put Burley Grimes on the team.
That is an emotion.
Yeah, that's an awesome name.
Like everyone gets a little pit in their stomach when
Yeah.
you hear Burley Grimes is on the mound. Hall
Burley
of Famer.
Arland Grimes. Yeah, that's on the team.
nickname Ol Stubblebeard.
Oh,
Burley Grimes is on the team.
Burley Grimes
That is
is
good.
on the team.
That is good.
Burley Grimes, born 1893, died 1985.
We're in such a dangerous
you
area
go.
right
What?
now. I just
I almost shared the earth with you.
I'm on Oscar Gamble's page right now.
Oh, sure,
We
sure.
already filled out our lineup. I can't.
Yeah.
We need one more starter.
Uh-huh.
Need some pen as well.
There is one that makes me laugh. I'm just going to throw out there. He was like kind of a two-way player in the 1800s. His name is Guy Hecker.
Guy Hecker.
I don't know. I don't think it's on the team, but it makes me laugh.
I understand why
Yeah.
it doesn't. I didn't.
Yeah.
You know.
But I like it.
Good stash.
I respect that.
Like a guy that he went around hecking some guys.
Right.
You know.
You do like that.
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
Do you want me to throw out another name?
You don't like Tyler Beatty?
This would be the time. This would be the time to throw Tyler Beatty on there. Be like,
At this second, he is on there.
yeah.
Let's just Boof Bonser should be on there.
Yeah, put Boof Bonser
Like
on there.
we're being a little too proud.
Yeah, it's his name's Boof.
We're being a little
Yeah.
too proud by not
Like
putting
Boof
Bonser on
Bonser
there.
is funnier than Boop Pal to me.
Yes.
Like
Oh,
Boof is
easily.
funnier
It's not
than
even close.
Boog, you know?
Antonio Bastardo.
Ooh, I hadn't considered
Does that
that.
sting
in the
at
bullpen.
all?
Do you feel compelled to get another lefty on there?
Oh, can I tell you? This is a weird one because he pitched recently. I like Cy Sneed, and the reason is it's like the same appeal as Cy Young, except he pitched in 2019 and 2020,
Right.
and it's like
Wow.
I like names that are, I'm gonna use a dictionary word here, anachronistic. So this sounds like a name that should have been from 120 years
Jesus,
ago,
bro.
like a Sonny Gray.
Be careful.
Sonny Gray should have been pitching in the 1910s.
Sonny Gray.
Yeah, I just maybe that. Sonny Gray's like, because if he was pitching in 1905, we wouldn't care. But because he pitches now, it's pretty amazing name.
Boof Bonser to the bullpen.
Okay,
Sonny Gray.
Sonny
in the
Gray.
rotation.
You know what? I think I agree.
You want What about Sixto in the pen?
You don't like Sixto starting?
There's a
Boof
lot of
Bonser
injury
was pretty
concerns.
bad.
Did Booth?
Yeah.
I think Booth pitched in relief.
I think
Some.
Sixto, like half his games that he got back for last year.
No, what I'm seeing Burley Grimes and Boof Bonser back to back, and that just feels like it shouldn't happen.
There needs to be something at least breaking him up.
Yeah,
I lean Boof
love
in the
let's put
pen.
Booth in the pen.
I see what you're trying to do, building a team here. So Sonny Gray. So does that give us 26?
How does Sonny Gray look? We have one more bullpen spot.
Because of Tyler Beatty.
Tyler Beatty's on. That's awesome.
Tyler Beatty
I'm
currently
so
is on.
happy
Can I
with that. So
Joe
happy.
Smith? Just put Joe Smith in there right now.
Joe Smith or Ryan Kirkering?
Oh no!
I know.
Joe Smith.
Joe Smith, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's humor in that.
Yeah.
And I think that makes the Tyler Beatty joke even better.
Yeah.
Because they're like, okay, they did Joe Smith as like that half kind of joke. Like
Yeah.
It's so safe. But Tyler Beatty.
And he was a really
Tyler
good-
Beatty is such a perfect,
Yeah.
like, am I missing
because
something?
it's like, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Like Beatty.
There's noises that are cool there.
Bailey. Wow. We've done it.
We did.
Some final thoughts after this from DraftKings. Why don't you guys go to DraftKings, baseball fans? If you made it to here, you like baseball a lot. That maybe you want to get in on the action. And if you're a new customer, if you bet $5 and your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets from walk-off homers, no-hitters, whatever's going on this baseball season. Don't miss it with us, and don't miss it with DraftKings. Sign up using our promo code JAMSPORTS. If you like baseball, if you like the thrill of live betting, DraftKings is where you got to be. DraftKings Sportsbook app, JM Sports, $5 on any wager, $300 in bonus bets if your bet wins. JM Sports, only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Bailey.
Was there anyone left on your board? Should we just throw out some of them?
Dude, I've just entered a weird baseball hell where there's so many cool names, like Vita Blue.
I had that. Yeah.
Like Luis Tiant hit me for like 5 minutes there, and I was like, it's kind of like his last name kind of was his pitching motion.
Yeah.
Like he kind of wrapped around himself.
Uh-huh.
That again, dude, I accidentally saw Oscar Gamble's name on the page, and I was like, that's kind of fucking sick.
name. Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't even think I can allow myself to wander anymore because I'm just afraid what it would do to like society at this point.
That's right. And I don't want us to have doubts about our team. I think our team's pretty good.
I think, you got to be careful doing different iterations of this. I do love the concept of like the good normal name team.
Yes. Yeah.
Like Andrew McCutcheon, in a way, not being flashy at all,
Right.
but a good name.
Great name.
A name that could have went to World Wars,
Definitely.
but also was a great baseball player.
Like revisiting it as like the ball player name draft.
Ball player.
Ball player name.
God,
yeah.
that's a lot of pressure. Bailey, Thank you. I feel physically beat up, which that's crazy.
Yeah.
This was a roller coaster ride. I thank you for visiting us in New York City this week. There's going to be a ton of Foolish Bailey stuff going out on different John Boy Media stuff. I mentioned the Hank Aaron video.
Yes.
I got to see you putting the final sauces on.
You saw me in grind mode.
Yeah, Memorial Day grind mode.
Yeah.
Cool.
We all were. The three of us were here. Where were you? Probably enjoying a day on the beach. Suckers.
Well, you have a hot dog or something?
I'm literally going to sprint to the bathroom and then record another baseball video. So thank you guys if you've made it here. Subscribe, and we will see you soon. In the words of Foolish Bailey, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.